Hello, babes. Welcome back to the Chase Life with Kelly show. I am your host, Kelly Chase. It has been quite some time since we have last connected. If you are new here, hello, welcome to the show. If you have been following my journey and you've been a true avid Chase Life with Kelly fan for quite some time now, thank you so much for showing up again. I know that I'm probably going to get a bit emotional. Sometimes we just have to breathe through it. But I wanted to I wanted to relaunch this podcast, and I wanted the first episode to I wanted the first episode to really ignite something inside of you, connect to you, relate to you, and really help shift things for you. Because I feel like I'm not the only person who has experienced what I experienced, and the reason why I took a break away from the show. So, first and foremost, it's been a struggle. I want to say ever since filming Love is Blind in 2018, which at the October, November of this year, it will have been 6 years since that aired, or not aired, but since we filmed that show. And it has just been a struggle. So for 6 years, that is a long time to be struggling. But I get it. There's people out there that feel like they're struggling and they can't put one foot in front of the other. And it's like ups and downs and hills and valleys all the time. I'm extremely blessed for what I have endured. I am extremely grateful for every bump in the road that I have been faced with. I am just honored to have been given the experiences that I have, great experiences, not so great experiences, things that have challenged my core. Before Love is Blind, before we filmed Love is Blind, I had literally like a year before, I had started this entire personal development journey, had left a corporate job that I was at for like 9 or almost 8 years, I was there for. And it just was, I showed up every single day for a paycheck, basically, and to see my friends because I loved my coworkers, and I still love those coworkers. We get together still. We got together a few months ago, and it was just so beautiful for my heart. But I left there because I had been coaching 5 years prior to leaving, or like 4 years, I guess, prior to leaving that 9 to 5. I had launched a coaching business, Chase Life with Kelly. I just told someone on another podcast yesterday that my Chase Life with Kelly Instagram account literally started in 2013 when I launched Chase Life with Kelly, or Chase Life Together technically is my LLC name. But when I launched Chase Life with Kelly, that's when I started that Instagram account. And so it has been Chase Life with Kelly since. And people have been chasing life with me since 2013. And that's so cool. That is so neat, that I have inspired people and I have touched people's lives and I've impacted people and I've transformed and shifted lives. It's humbling. It really, really is. And I get emotional. I get emotional because, and maybe this can relate to you, but I feel like I'm constantly trying, or I have been. It feels like I've constantly been doing so much to prove myself, for people to see me, for people to know me, for my family to see me and see how wonderful I am and how great I am. And although, yes, they say that you're wonderful, you're great, we're so proud of you, it's still, and I want to say that there's a lot of like maybe inner child wounds that surround this as to why I get emotional about it. Granted, they're happy tears too, because I'm excited. I'm happy that I've been able to impact a lot of lives. But on the other side, there's the inner child wounds, maybe some, trying to, like I said, just prove myself, that I'm like constantly like performing, I guess. I heard that on a Kayla Crafts podcast recently. And she was like, from self-abandonment and rejection as a child. And I kind of resonated with her in that sense. And we definitely don't have the same story at all. I feel like I have very loving parents and a very loving upbringing. And I know just through the inner healing work that I've done that there were some things that I, kind of wish were a bit different. And, but there's some ego in that too. There's some ego in when I get emotional, because I feel like sometimes I'm not doing enough. And, we are enough as we are. Like, God put us here on this planet and we are here. We are worthy. We are enough as we are. And I just feel like maybe sometimes I'm not doing enough. And that has led to burnout in many regards. I've gotten really burnt out years ago. And anyways, I'll go off on tangents, and this will be like a 5-hour long episode, and I'm trying to keep it about 45 minutes. So, anyways, I left that 9-to-5 job in 2017 and started pursuing the health coaching. And I was like, this is awesome. I listened to one podcast in particular. It was Angie Lee show. She's still one of my favorites, one of my favorite humans, mentors. She's just so inspiring. And anyways, I just really dialed into, because she was speaking to other coaches and online entrepreneurs, and she was sharing business tactics and marketing and all of that. Anyways, invested in her wellness, her Wellpreneur Mastermind back in 2018. And around that same time, I actually received the call from the casting team for Love is Blind, and just was interviewed, all the things, accepted to do that. And but I went through that program with Angie Lee, met a handful of amazing women, not just in my container, in the coaching container, but the co-coaches. And I'm still really good friends with many of them to this day. One of them, I've taken multiple programs of hers, Erin Nicole Porter. I will forever shout her out, because she did change my life. She changed my life, and I'm immensely grateful for her. And she continues. She just has this beautiful angelic soul, and she's just a beautiful human. And once we got done filming Love is Blind in November of 2018, I actually, to avoid healing and all the things, although I didn't realize that's what I was doing at the time. But that's kind of what we do. We tend to distract ourselves. We move, we pivot, we change, we do things to distract actually sitting in the pain, sitting with the feelings, because the pain is so uncomfortable. And the pain of rejection was very freaking uncomfortable when we got done filming Love is Blind. And just abandoned. Like, I felt abandoned, myself, as well as, feeling abandoned, just because the whole thing was over. It was done. It was gone. And there was no more relationship at all. And so it was time to repair mine. And although I wasn't seeking Erin's support for that, that's what happened. She really helped me come back home to myself. And, I put a program together called Goddess Magic. I've launched it a couple of times, have done it in different ways, haven't really fully given the videos to the coaching videos to my prior clients, some here and there, but not the full thing. And anyways, I put together this whole coaching program, like literally every video that I have ever created, I have put into this program called Goddess Magic. And it is everything that I've ever learned from all of my coaches. And there's still so much more that I want to add to this. There's going to be in the show notes, the link to go to this, but it's helping you to connect back home to yourself, recognize your limiting beliefs, recognize where you are playing small, recognize your inner child wounds, what happened in your life that is affecting your behavioral patterns now. And affecting your results. If you don't love your relationships, whether that be your romantic, your social, your family relationships, if you don't love the income that you're making, if you don't like what the money in your bank account or the lack of money in your bank account, if you have a lot of debt and you're like, I will never fucking pay this off. And if you are just looking for that expansion and that growth and something to shift you, like literally freaking change your life. Like, what you're doing now isn't necessarily working. You're not as happy as you could be. You're not as joyful as you could be. You're not as grateful as you could be. You're not as at peace and at ease with life as you could be. This program is for you. We go into the like law of attraction, money mindset, the energetics behind why we do what we do, limiting beliefs, like disconnecting to reconnect, and then creating a new story for yourself. And then we go into relationship modules, which the relationship modules are phenomenal. It helps you, again, connect back to yourself. Boundaries, we talk about boundaries, self-love, self-worth, creating a self-care practice, why you keep attracting the same type of person. And if you are married and you or you are in a relationship and you feel that it could be better, this is definitely going to help strengthen things, shift your perspective around your love for your significant other, and help build and grow your relationship as well, or the relationship with yourself, and help you make different decisions. And then I go into some business strategy, as far as like creating your own digital course, because hello, people of the world, like things just keep getting more expensive out there, like things are really getting pricey. And if you are making less than six figures, if you're making less than $100,000 a year, I feel it's very hard to have a more flexible spending budget. Like it's kind of like you just have to pay your bills and you get to do some fun things here and there. But like, I want you guys to be able to do fun things all the time. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be honest with you right now. I don't have that pleasure yet. I don't have that freedom yet, but I'm working on it. Thus a reason why I'm coming back with this podcast, because I know I have a message to share. I want to share it with you guys. I want to do it for fun. And I'm going to tell you in about 2 seconds why why I decided to take a couple of breaks from the podcast from this very moment, up until now. But I want to help expand you, because if you are like, literally, if you don't have more than one, if you only have one stream of income, only one stream of income. And I want you to think about, okay, how else am I making money? Maybe you have a Roth IRA, maybe you have 401k, maybe you have different investments in stock, house, rental properties, things like that. Those are different forms of income as well. But what is like bringing you money, right? Like things on a more monthly, quarterly basis. I want to help expand you. So if I can do that with a few modules just to kind of kickstart your mind to shift and be like, that's kind of cool. Let me create, like I literally teach you the very, very basics of how to create a digital course so that you can go back into the world and be like, I'm going to do this too. Like whether you love, maybe you're super passionate about making pizzas and you want to teach people how to make pizzas. And if your first instinct when I say that is to think, well, if I teach people how to make pizzas, then they're going to like be my competitor. That is a lack mindset. And we're going to go ahead and correct that right now. The thing about life is that you give, 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 give. The more that you give, good things just happen to you. They just do. That's just like the laws of the universe. It just happens, okay? So give your gifts, show your gifts. I wish I had my phone in front of me, or I do, but I wish I had pulled this up at some point, but earlier before I hopped on here. But there is a quote from one of my greater mentors, Bob Proctor, the late Bob Proctor, and he quoted another, I want to say it may have been Maxwell Maltz, maybe. But he said something like, the greatest gift you were given were skills and abilities. The greatest gift you can give back to God is to use those talent, skills, and abilities in this lifetime. Something like that. Think about that. Let that land with you. Let that sit with you and think, wow, what talent, skill, or ability am I not utilizing? How can I utilize it? And maybe it doesn't look like how you think it's going to look. Maybe it's going to pan out a little bit differently. Okay, so that's it. Anyways, the Goddess Magic course, the link is in my bio on Instagram. It's in my show notes. You can always reach out to me, DM me, Goddess Magic or something, and I will send you the link. It is a profound program. It is a DIY. You do it at your own pace. there is a bit of a price to it because, of course, like if you pay attention. When you pay attention. If you get it for free, you're not going to do it. And honestly, some of you may not even complete the entire course. It's over like 15 hours worth of material. Okay. And I'm giving it to you at like a really low rate. So this is something that's probably worth like $5,000. But I digress. It doesn't matter how much it is. It's a lot of effort. I've spent probably 6 figures on mentorship, investing time, energy, and money into coaching, specialists, therapists, things like that. And like I said, a lot of what I have learned investing that time, energy, and money is in the Goddess Magic program. So you get a condensed version of just the like poignant, pungent points that are going to shift things for you. Okay, so let me tell you why I decided to take 2 breaks. I launched the podcast in January of 2021. I did it for a little while, and I'm going to be honest and transparent because that's what you know of me. You know that I am that way. Ego, both times. Ego was both times. The first time was like, wow, I was on a top-rated reality TV show on Netflix, and no brands were reaching out to me to sponsor my podcast. I'm not making jack shit on my podcast. Like, I'm not making any money on my podcast. Although when I was on, like, you know, whether it was recording a solo episode or doing a guest episode, I was so in it. I loved it. Okay. Like, I love the podcast. I love podcasting. I love it. I love talking to people. I love connecting with people. I love sharing my story. But I have to be honest with you. I have to be honest with you and tell you that's why. It wasn't making money. And I was very confused. And I was like, again, kind of going back to those inner child wounds of like, I feel like I had to do this, or maybe I should do this, or maybe I should have this person on, or maybe I'm supposed to be doing it this way, or maybe I should, like, how exhausting is that to be thinking that and to think that you're not fucking doing enough when you're doing it? I was doing it. I'm showing up. And yeah, maybe I didn't have a niche of talking about like just one thing. And so I became like an expert, and people wanted to be like, oh, this girl is like known for just talking about reality, Love is Blind. Let's put it that way. You know, she just does Love is Blind recaps, and that's why we want to like go there. But I had a following. I had people that listened to the podcast. Obviously, if you're listening right now, you're either new here or you have been listening for a while, and I welcome you back. And I love you so much for being here. Like, love you so much for being here. And I'm glad that I can be honest with you. It sucks, to be honest. Sometimes it's painful. It's disappointing. But I hope that by me being truthful and honest, that it gives you permission to be truthful and honest, maybe with someone in your life that you need to be truthful and honest with too, and transparent with. But I'm always going to own my shit. And I think that's what makes the world go round. Anyways, but yeah, I love doing the podcast. I love talking to my guests. I loved all the guests that I had on. So it wasn't anything about the show. It was just that. And it was bothering me. I was like, why am I not getting paid to do this? I'm spending countless hours. Like, time is money, you know? But I know that I was giving, and I received great feedback from the podcast and things like that. But this time, like, I don't want to quit. Also, okay. So the second time, also, it was a part of that was like, okay, sponsorship still isn't coming in. I'm not getting paid for this. Things felt kind of out of alignment though. And that's why I took a break last year. I took a break because things were out of alignment. I felt like I was throwing spaghetti against the wall, hoping that it would stick. Again, kind of going back to like, maybe I do need a niche. Maybe I should be doing this. Maybe I should be doing that. Maybe I'm supposed to be doing this. I should be doing it this way. I should probably have this type of person on in my podcast. And because this is what my audience looks for. This is what my audience wants. And my virtual assistant, love her so much, Anna, she said this to me one time. She was like, you came from a reality TV show. Like, it's great that you have guests on because it's it's extremely valuable information. And obviously it's giving you something. There's something about having guests and having conversations with people that helps you out. And you love that too. You love talking to people. You love learning their stories and hearing about their journeys, things like that. She said, but people want to hear you. People want to hear from you. They like you. They found you. They discovered you through a reality TV show. Something resonated with them. And that's why you're like, they want to hear from you. You are Kelly Chase. You are Chase Life with Kelly. So that's kind of always stuck with me too, from her saying that. And I think that's why I started sprinkling in a little bit more solo episodes last year. But this year you might get a lot more solo episodes. I'm a teacher at heart. When I was younger, people would ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would say a baby doctor, a teacher, and an actress. And I feel like over the last handful of years, since really coming home to myself, and I still have to come home a lot, very frequently to myself. I get distracted. I avoid things. I regress into past behaviors, and that's okay. That's the beautiful thing of the human experience, is you get to experience life and all the ups and downs and all the things. So anyways, but I really want to just connect with you guys. I should probably have like a teleprompter in front of me, because I always like come off track, but I'm just like literally just like download things and I just talk about it, and that's it. And I use my hands a lot when I talk. So if you're on YouTube and my hand is distracting, I apologize. It makes me more energetic. But anyways, so yeah, you're going to get some more solo episodes probably, with some other things. I don't know. It shouldn't be surprise. It's not going to be, there's not going to be any like pattern, rhythm, rhyme, or reason to anything that I do pretty much here, except for I'm going to be intentional about just showing up for you guys, because I really do enjoy it. Okay. But yeah, so those are the pretty main reasons why, is because I just kind of felt out of sorts. Ego was coming in, playing a really big part. It wasn't making money. It was a lot of time that I was spending. And you know what? The fact of the matter is, it's going to be a lot of time. But I will say, the first time that I launched also, like, I was not in 2021, I left one of my corporate jobs that I was at for like 15 months. I left that corporate job because I had 2 panic attacks, because it was a year after the show had aired and I was doing the most. I'm going to have to do a separate episode to talk about that experience, because I really want to give you guys the details of it. It was a very unhealthy time for me, considering I had 2 panic attacks back to back. But with that being said, I launched the podcast. Like, I was just doing so much. Had the podcast going, thought I was going to start making money. Now I don't have a job, because I left that corporate space. Granted, I was bringing in income from coaching and some brand deals, but that stuff was not consistent because my nervous system was all chaotic and dysregulated. And yeah, we'll go into that stuff too. A regulated nervous system is key to everything that you do. Key. Okay. Somatic work, nervous system regulation, all of that is going to be so powerful and so key to everything, especially if you are an entrepreneur, because being an entrepreneur or having an entrepreneurial mind, there is a tendency for you to get unregulated, because you're working so much and you're doing and you're not even like in the flow of the being and giving yourself grace and ease and gratitude in those moments. There's a lot of hustling going on with the entrepreneurial. So you can do things oftentimes out of like a trauma response. This didn't work, so let me do this. I broke up with my boyfriend and I need to go all in on my business. You going all in on your business is a trauma response from the rejection and the pain that you're not fucking dealing with your ex-boyfriend. Right? Like, the breakup hurts. Sit with the breakup and be with the breakup and feel it and heal it, work through it, and then go into your going all in on your business. Right? But that's what I did, leaving the show, filming the show. I went all in on my business, into the hustle. So it was a trauma response, but it was a beautiful thing. A beautiful experience, like I said, because I was able to, have Erin as my coach, and we did a lot of inner child work, and it was great. Yeah. So I took those 2 breaks. Long story short, I'm back. I'm here. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So I was also spread extremely thin. So working a 9 to 5, coaching, podcast, brand deals, just creating content, just to create content on social media, having a social life, trying to have a dating life, trying to hang out with my family. It's a lot. That's like 7 full-time jobs, it felt like. So of course I had 2 panic attacks. I was drained. I was absolutely fried in 2021. And then, just 2022, 2023, again, there was just some misalignment. Things felt rough. I would show up in my coaching business, then I wouldn't show up for the coaching. I would show up and not show up. I feel like whenever I was quote unquote on, was when I was actually recording the podcast episodes or speaking one-on-one with my clients. And obviously that's the beauty. That's the beautiful thing. Like, that's the magical moment anyways. That's where the power is anyways, in that, because that's where the transformation and the shifts happen on those calls as well as on the podcast. So that was great. But outside of that, it just felt very chaotic for me. And I was spread very thin. I was like, oh my God. And so things became daunting. Coaching, my business became daunting. The podcast became daunting. And although I loved the conversations that I would have leading up to it, I was like, I have to record this episode. I don't ever want to be like, I have to do something. Oh, I have to do something. If you're doing anything in life and the words or the thoughts cross your mind, I have to do this, you may want to take a look at what that is, how you can shift it, how you can make it better, how you can bring more ease, peace, and flow into your life, how you can make it happier for you. If you need to let it go, then you got to let it go. So what I decided, I took on coaching, health coaching, June of 2022. No, 2023, excuse me. I took on the coaching, health coaching. I have told myself for freaking 4 years, I don't want to do health coaching anymore. I don't want to do it. I do not want to do it. I want to talk about nutrition or fitness in a way. Let me put it this way. I don't want to talk about nutrition and fitness coaching people. I don't mind doing a podcast episode about it or talking about nutrition and movement of your body on Instagram as like an influencer, because there is power in that. I 100% think that there is a lot that I can share about those topics. But when it comes to like individualized, customized support with coaching with nutrition and fitness, there's so much that goes into that, y'all, that like blood work needs to be done. I'm not, qualified to tell you to go get blood work, or to even write up a script for you to get blood work or supplements or anything like that. Like, there's a lot. Like, I feel like health coaching can go so far. And obviously, yes, I could have gotten more license, certifications, degrees, the whole 9 yards with the health coaching, and then been able to do those things, or built a network to refer my clients out, but I didn't. And I think that spoke volumes to the fact that that's just like not the path that I was meant to go down further in life. So I'd been doing coaching the way that I was doing coaching for 10 years before I started to pivot, but these last few years, what lit me up on coaching calls, I would always ask, do you have like a side business? And for whatever reason, I kind of attracted people who were, they just became coaches. They were wanting to become coaches. And therefore, I was able to kind of like start our conversation, because with all of my coaching, as I just told you about Goddess Magic, it's like mindset coaching to relationship coaching to strategy, right? So you're going to get a 360 degree of everything when you're working with me. And so that's kind of what I did with former clients, unless they came to me like, hey, I want to, like, can you help me grow my coaching business? Absolutely. Got you. But a majority of the time it was either health coaching or like life coaching. And then we would dive into like the career and business side of things, yada, yada. And that's where I shine. Like, I like talking strategy because I like helping people expand their mind. I love helping people expand their mind. And thus, literally, like, I want to say the definition of chase life with Kelly, you're chasing life with me. Like, I am running, like I am going towards the things that I want to achieve in life. And the journey of becoming and the journey of achieving those things. That's that's what a former coach of mine said, or not a current coach of mine, Maddie Del Maso. She said that, it's in the achieving, it's in the journey of achieving the goal that you become something, and you have to be okay with who you're becoming in the process of achieving the goal. And if you're not okay with who you become in the process, then that's probably not the goal for you. And I thought that was so powerful. So that's what I'm doing. And I even have thought lately, I'm like, you know what? It's interesting because I am a tall order. I don't see myself not being seen. I don't see myself like, I essentially maybe one day want to have like an actual like in studio podcast, like talk show, or maybe an actual talk show, like the Drew Barrymore show. I love her. She's so cute. I have mentioned that like probably 15 years ago. I was like, it'd be really cool to be a talk show host and get to talk to people and have fun and be seen and wear fun outfits and all the things. And yeah, I decided, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, I decided to wear a fun spring two-piece set. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Well, you can't see the whole thing, but it's a skirt and a top, crop top thing. Go on YouTube, check it out. I love it. It's just so fun. And it's like sea life. It's like coral and underwater stuff, shells. I don't even know what's on here. There's crabs, there's like a parrot. It's just fun. And because, I work a 9 to 5 now, which I love my job. I do love my job, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But my job, I work with personal injury, motor vehicle accident, workers' comp attorneys. But I do sales and marketing for an orthopedic company. So I do sales, I build relationships, I meet with people most every single day. I'm a people person. I like talking to people. And my biggest thing, like, okay, let's talk business, because yes, I'm very confident in what I do. I enjoy what I do. I understand. I have gained an understanding of how the business works and how we can really provide great service and care for the people, that get injured. So anyways, with that being said, it has gotten me out of my house. When I started this job in December of 2022. And prior to that, I left the prior corporate job in 2021. So probably almost 2 years, because I left there in like March and then December. Yeah, it's almost 2 years that I was out of a corporate job, just doing the coaching, the podcast, the brand stuff, trying to figure out freaking life, because I was so chaotic then too. Still, social media was just a big shit storm. But anyways, got the job because I was running out of money. And yeah, surprise, guys, when you have close to 400,000 followers, it does not mean that you make $400,000 a year. Again, I was all over the place, and therefore, so was my bank account, and my nervous system and everything. So anyways, got the job, and I wear like cute little like suit things, like nice trousers every day with like a blazer. I've been loving these couple of blazers that I got from Revolve, or off Revolve website, Camilo Coho or something like that, I think are the brands. But I don't know, just a blazer. I didn't think that I was a blazer girl, but I'm a blazer girl. I like blazers. They make me feel really confident with like a kind of like a skinny pant trouser. I really feel good. However, this is my show, Chase Life with Kelly. We're going to wear whatever we want. Okay. We're going to wear whatever we want because we are self-expressed and we are chasing life. We are opening ourselves up. We are diving deeper into the true, authentic self of us. And this is fun. I want to be more fun for you guys, right? I want to be more fun for myself. And I want you all to feel like you can dress. Maybe you have a dress code at work, but outside of work, I want you to explore your femininity. I want you to explore who you are. I want you to explore what you like and things that are going to kind of push you a little bit. Be like, oh, that's a little edgy. Wear it. Wear the thing that makes you feel like something else, but makes you feel really good inside. And well, I put this on today and I was like, yep, that feels really good. I was going to get dressed and put on my little suit outfit because I have to start work. I'm actually recording this before work. But I was like, nope, I'm going to do this. I'm going to wear this and then I'll change so that I can go into work. Anyways, but my 9 to 5 right now has been so helpful on my mental health. It gets me out of my house every day. I'm talking to people. That is my groove. And I love, like I said, talking the business strategy, but I also love learning their stories. How did you become an attorney? Why did you become an attorney? What do you love most about this job? Things like that. Like, What else are you doing in this community? It's really neat to learn about people. Curiosity is key in life. If you are not being curious, you're really playing small and keeping yourself stuck in life. Like, get curious with your friends, get curious about strangers, get curious with your family. Be curious. Doesn't mean you have to go do the things that they're doing or that they're into, but just be curious. How are you doing today? Oh, tell me more about that. Oh, you're feeling good? Tell me more about that. What happened really good for you today? Let them talk. People like to talk. Um, anyways, so I'm just but yeah, so I'm glad that I'm here. I'm really glad that I'm here. I don't even know where this podcast episode was going. But I'm just glad that I'm back, and I'm thank you for letting me be vulnerable with you all the time. Thank you for letting me share my gifts with you. Thank you for letting me own up to my stuff, being ego, a lot of it's ego driven. Like, guys, oh, so I was health coaching. God, this thing is all over the place, but you know what? I may have ADD. We don't know. I've never been diagnosed, but maybe so. Anyways, I wanted to kind of like circle back to I started the health coaching and I quit the health coaching. Um, for real, for good. So I was doing it 2000 last summer, and then I took a break because again, it was a lot. It was a lot. And I know if you're listening to this podcast and you worked with me last year through the Lanus app, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to fully show up for you and give you the support that you needed. I should not have taken on something that I had to think twice about. And I want that to land with you. If you have to think twice about something, it's probably a no. Probably shouldn't try and talk yourself into it. And the reason I talked myself into it is because I wanted to help people, and this company approached me and I was like, wow, they take care of a lot. Like, I don't have to do a lot of the back end stuff. So this will at least be a little bit easier for me. I think I can show up. I know what I'm talking about, all the things. And then when it came down to it, it became a lot of work. And, I see people every day. I have conversations with multiple people every single day. So when I get home at 5 o'clock, I'm tired. And then I would have to like go into the app and follow up with people, change their meal plans, change their exercise plans. And I failed. I am going to admit that I failed. I did not do a great job at that. But some, yes, I did, but some I couldn't. I just couldn't give anymore. But I was trying to do all the things. And I was interviewed for a podcast at the probably beginning of December, talking with a good friend of mine. And I was like, I'm actually going to air that episode here on the podcast. But I was like, we talked about the fact that things can be distractions. And he's like, well, like, what do you ultimately want? And I was like, honestly, I just want to get paid to be me. I just want to be myself. And like, at the end of the day, yeah, I want to have a family. I want all of that too. I said, but I don't want to be working 5 different jobs. Like, I just can't. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm tired. I want to retire. It's like, I want to retire. I'm to that point where I'm like, can I just meet a man, a bajillionaire man, to let me go travel the world with him and let's live our best life in like the coast of Italy? That's what I like aspire. Do I really want that? I don't know, but I'm just so exhausted. I was getting so burnt out that I'm like, just someone take me away. Um, us women, we are very multifaceted. We can multitask like crazy, but are we meant to do all those things and be like our cortisol to be so crazy high that we actually create dis-ease in our body? No, we need to be focused on like one thing, right? Like 1 or 2 things and go all in on those things. So anyways, with that conversation about the distractions, I was like, okay, I do the podcast, I do the coaching, I have my 9 to 5 that I'm really enjoying. I do brand like partnerships from time to time. I have affiliates. I'm posting content. I'm like, what feels really good? The podcast feels really good. My 9 to 5 feels really good. Everything else, not so much. I'll post things to my Instagram here and there for the, brand partnerships and the brand affiliates. That can be kind of easy. It's quick. Coaching is deep. Coaching is really, really deep. That's why right now I'm only offering the Goddess Magic program as a digital course so that you can go through it on your own. But one-on-one coaching, group coaching, I'm not available for that right now. Maybe it will be something that I pick up later on, but honestly, this is your one-on-one coaching. This is your group coaching. This is your coaching, is this podcast, and the content that I create online. Connect here for what you need to have a shift of perspective, a perspective shift. You need to grow, you need to expand, you need to change your thought patterns, you need to do some inner child work, you need to adapt a new healing technique or modality like breath work. I had Samantha Scully on prior to, that was my most recent episode. I mean, the last episode before I took a break. Like, you want to go inward. You want to have vulnerable conversations. You want to have conversations that the world thinks are taboo and, that, oh, we shouldn't be talking about that. Fuck that. No. Okay. We are going to talk about the things because guess what? We're human. We're all talking about it with our friends behind closed doors or thinking the thoughts. Well, we're going to think the thoughts out loud because I think that's just beautiful for us to just be vulnerable, raw, and transparent. Like, let's all just get to freaking know each other. Right. So I love that. So anyways, I've eliminated some distractions. I will tell you this one more time. I did at the beginning of January, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll do it one more time. I'll do like one more round of coaching. And I had to talk myself into it. I picked it up. I worked with a couple of girls. That was it. And I went ahead and I was like, I can't show up for you. I even hired an assistant coach, Carly. She's been on the podcast also. She's amazing. I love her to death. But I felt bad, but I had to be really transparent with her. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I pretty much just brought you on and I can't do this anymore. I can't. I have to go do what lights me up and fuels my soul. And that is my memo and message to all of you. Go do what lights you up and fuels your soul. Let go of the freaking things that are distracting you from what you're wanting. That could be a relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship where the person is just sucking the fucking life out of you. And you're like, oh my God, I can't do anything that I like to do. Or how am I ever going to grow a business when I have this over here pulling me back? How can I shift the way that I'm thinking in order to really fully show up in this regard? So what can you let go of to catapult yourself forward into the things that you really enjoy doing and being a part of? So that's it. So I've created the digital course. You have that. That is awesome. I'm serious. Like, the teachings in that are going to shift so much for you. And then we have the podcast here, and I'll create content time to time. I probably won't create content every single day on Instagram or TikTok, but it's there. And you can binge these episodes. You can watch these episodes on my YouTube channel, YouTube / I think at Chase Life with Kelly. Find me on TikTok. I am Kelly Chase. It's literally the only social media that is different. Well, I guess LinkedIn too. LinkedIn is my name as well, but TikTok, I am Kelly Chase, but YouTube and Instagram at Chase Life with Kelly. I'm really, really excited to be back. I'm sure that I had more to talk about this time, but you know what? I'm gonna let you go. It's been 45 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that it helped. You just feel a little bit just like more connected with me. I don't think that every episode has to be this like serious, like super big shift every single time. Sometimes I may just come on here and hope you're well. No, I'm just kidding. I will create very valuable, intentional content. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for allowing me to be me. And another little lesson, I guess, is there's people that aren't going to be your people. They won't like what you have to say. They won't align with what you're about. And those are just not your people. So I feel like by me showing up more, on social media as well as here on the podcast and just having this space to share who I'm all about, that I will attract the right type of people into my sphere. And I just want to help you all expand, grow, change, shift, and really live a freaking prosperous life because you are so deserving of it. Okay, let's let go of the shoulds and the supposed tos and that you're not enough and you're not doing enough, because I promise you probably are. You're probably doing way too much. And you're like, I can't do any more. Well, I hear you. I see you. So let's start offloading things from our plate, figure out exactly what you would like to be doing, and let's go do it. If you don't have income coming in, let's get yourself a job. I don't care what it is. Just to have a consistent paycheck to regulate your nervous system, get yourself just more grounded so that you can act on a business or a plan or an idea with more ease and not this state of emergency that I need money, so I got to do this with my business. Like that is trauma, and we don't want any more trauma than we already have. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Please check out the link in my bio for the Goddess Magic. Check out the website. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. And can't wait to chat with you next week. Love you. Bye. Oh, and chase life with Kelly.